Now that we know the steps to go ahead and find our chi-squared value, let's work through the example. First thing I'm going to do is take my little table and I'm going to list all my observed values. I prefer to start at the upper left corner, so I'm going to start by writing 30 and then move across. So I'll do 30, then 19. I skipped the total. It's not one of the values I filled in. Go down to 44, 45, moving across, 50, and 38. This is my personal preference, and you don't have to do it that way. The only important thing to watch out is that however you trace across your observed is also how you have to trace across your expected. So that is, I had 30, so when I fill in for my expected value, I'm going to put a 27 here, because it's in the same spot the 30 was. Same when I come up here with the 19, I'll put a 22 next to 19. I need to continue that way throughout my table. That is, match up my observed and my expected values. So a 49 here, a 40, 48, and 42. It's important to match them up, so I find the difference between, in that exact instant, my observed and my expected. So that is, I had 30 women who made over $60K a year and did not receive medical attention. I expected it to be 27. The difference between my actual and my expected is 3. Tracing it down the entire way, then you're going to notice I get negatives and positives. And then, in fact, if I added all those up, I would get 0 out. And that's because these are the deviations from expectation. So, for instance, because 27 was 3 lower than 30, this 22 is 3 above 19, and that's because they still have to add the same numbers. So if one went up by 3, the other one has to go down by 3, which is why, once again, I can't add these up as written. Instead, I have to square them to cancel out the fact that I could have negatives there. And if I'm squaring them to cancel out the fact that there's got to be negatives, I might as well go ahead and divide by the expected in the same step. When we do this, we'll keep 3 decimal places. So for this first one, 3 squared divided by 27, I should get 0.333. This would be a great opportunity to pause the video, fill in the table, come back and check. Now hopefully my values line up with your values. Once again, I'm keeping 3 decimal places in here. I have no negatives on here because I squared it. So if you're putting it into a calculator and get a negative out, make sure you put parentheses around it and then square it. Final step, I got to add all this up, and when I add them up, this will be chi-squared, which in our case is 2.06.